The moment you stop chasing, something uncomfortable happens. The silence gets louder. The emptiness shows itself. And most men panic right there, because chasing feels like control, even when it isn't. You chase attention. You chase approval. You chase answers from people who already decided. And you tell yourself it's effort, that it's strength. But deep down, you know the truth. You are reacting, not choosing. Most men today live in reaction to messages that don't come, to respect they think they deserve, to love they try to earn. You feel it when someone pulls away. A woman loses interest. A friend stops responding. A job doesn't call back. The chest tightens. The mind races. You replay conversations. You look for mistakes, and then you chase. Another message. Another explanation. Another attempt to prove your value. Not because you want to, because you're afraid of the silence. That fear is common, but it's also the source of weakness. Modern life pushes men into this state. Always available, always explaining, always performing. You're told to express everything, share everything, show how much you care. But no one tells you the cost. The cost is self-respect. When you chase, you hand over your center. Your mood depends on responses. Your confidence depends on validation. You start measuring yourself through other people's reactions. That's not connection. That's dependence. And it creates a quiet inner conflict. On one side, emotion. Urgent, loud, restless. On the other, control. Calm, still, patient. Most men feel this tension every day. And most lose. They send the message they should have held back. They explain what needed, no explanation. They lower standards just to avoid discomfort. Not because they are weak men, but because they never learned restraint. Restraint is not suppression. It's command. There's a difference between feeling emotion and being ruled by it. The problem isn't desire. It's attachment. Attachment to outcomes. Attachment to being chosen. Attachment to being seen. The moment you need a result, you lose leverage. The moment you chase approval, you give up authority. People feel it. Even if they can't explain it, chasing creates pressure. Pressure kills respect, and respect is the real currency. Not attention, not affection, respect. This is where the shift happens, quietly, without drama. One day you notice something. Every time you stop chasing, the chaos slows down. When you don't send the message, the urge fades. When you don't explain yourself, your posture changes. When you accept that you may not be chosen, your breathing steadies. You realize control was never out there. It was always here, inside your response. This is not advice. It's a realization. You see that chasing was never strength. It was fear dressed as effort. Fear of being ignored. Fear of being replaced. Fear of not being enough. And fear makes men loud, restless, predictable. Calm men are different. They move slower. They speak less. They don't rush to be understood. They let silence do the work. Silence is not empty. It's selective. When you stop chasing, you stop negotiating your worth. You stop trying to manage how others feel about you. You return to responsibility, your actions, your standards, your discipline. This is where power returns. Not power over people, power over yourself. You wake up and your mood is no longer hijacked. You train even when no one notices. You work without announcing it. You don't need to signal strength. You live it. There is a moment many men remember clearly. They didn't reply. They didn't ask why. They didn't chase closure. And nothing collapsed. The world didn't end. The anxiety passed. The urge burned out. What remained was clarity. You see who stays without effort. You see what grows without force. And you stop wasting energy on what resists. This is the climax most men never reach. Not a dramatic win, not revenge, not validation. just quiet self-respect. You look at yourself and know you didn't betray your standards today. That feeling is rare and addictive. From here, things change. You choose instead of react. You pause instead of plead. You act from principle, not panic. People sense it, not because you announce it, but because you're no longer available for games. You're present, but not needy. Open, but not dependent. Strong, because you are governed. This is the lesson most men learn too late. The less you chase, the more grounded you become. The more grounded you become, the less you need. And the less you need, the more power you carry. Power is not loud. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't rush. It waits. It knows that what is meant to stay doesn't need to be chased. And what needs chasing was never yours to begin with. When you stop chasing, you don't lose people. You lose illusions. You lose anxiety. You lose dependence. You lose the version of yourself that begged silently. What remains is simpler. A man who stands, who observes, who acts when it's right, not because he fears loss, but because he respects himself. That is modern strength, quiet, disciplined, unshaken. And once you feel it, you never chase the same way again.